advocate, healer, counselor, teacher, scientist, listener. As a healthcare provider, you juggle many roles every day, and every day you make a difference in people's lives. What you say and do matters. This video and the training program that accompanies it will prepare you for one particular role, the role you play when one of your patients discovers an unplanned pregnancy. This training, the Infant Adoption Awareness Training Program, will prepare you to help your patients understand the option of adoption.
Well, when I found out I was pregnant, it was a shock in a way, and it shouldn't have been.
What went through my mind? If anybody finds out, they're gonna kill me. I know my sisters were gonna be very upset. I pretty much thought about everybody else's feelings before my own.
And at first I was really emotional about it. I was like, this is not happening to me, this is not happening to me, and just didn't want to believe it. Wanted to go back and keep getting more tests and more tests.
I didn't want to go take a pregnancy test because I didn't want it to be real.
I did not acknowledge that I was pregnant until I was at least 5-6 months pregnant.
I don't know, I was really scared of what they were going to say and how they were going to act towards me, or I don't know. I felt a little ashamed, well, more than a little.
I basically cried for a whole week because I didn't know what I was going to do. I was just devastated.
It's a very intensely emotional time. There's a lot of grieving that's going on often because they're facing some changes in their life.
I've had a lot of women who are really unable to speak or think because they're in a state of shock, because it's not what they expected.
Worried about housing, finances, what am I going to tell my parents, gee, how am I going to finish school, just huge, huge issues.
Her mind is racing, or sometimes it's numb. Where am I going to live? What am I going to eat? How would I feed this child?
How can this be? I can't keep this kid. I'm not at the point in my life that I can do this. What am I going to do?
Overwhelmed is a good word in most cases.
I would hope, too, that at the front end, the person who's affirming the pregnancy really says, you've got a lot here to think about. Who will you go to next? Who can you talk to about this? What fears do you have?
So the nurse may be the entree, may be the connecting link.
There's an opportunity at hand for some support that could make a difference in someone's life forever.
I think nurses and nurse midwives can have a tremendous impact on women that they serve because they are open-minded, they're listening, they're making a woman feel that she is important, that she is smart, and she can make good decisions.
And then the opportunity is there where she can get the kind of information and assistance that leads to appropriate adoption planning if the option is to have someone else parent the child.
And somehow to remind her that she's in charge of this experience.
Most nurses know that they're advocates for their patients. It isn't up to them to make a decision for them. It's up to them to lay out the choices.
But what was most helpful for me was empowering words. Words like trust your instincts. Even writing out the pros and cons. I mean, I had a nurse tell me, you know, what if you made a list?
I felt really alone and really cried a lot, and my self-esteem, like I said, was horrible. I felt like an it.
I can tell you what a difference it makes to have somebody come in and look you in the eyes and take a moment to call you by your name and say, how are you today, or smile at you.
Just talking to people with respect and letting them know, yeah, I do hear you.
To be able to read someone who felt like I felt, and to be able to just be able to say, is there anything that you feel like you need to talk about right now? You have quite a bit going on in your life, how is your day? Would you like me to come and sit with you after your visit?
What are you going through? What can I do to help you?
When you have a nurse or a doctor that says, I'm a really good listener.
That really respectful nurse who does take the time to connect to this person, sees her as a real human being and an honorable one at that, and who's just gone through some amazing stuff. It's just good nursing.
The pregnancy is shocking enough. The birth and relinquishment are unbearable. To have shame layered over all of that is absolutely horrendous, and it's life changing, it's life inhibiting. It's life inhibiting. So whatever means of support, gentleness, kindness, and respect can be done is what I say is the most important thing.
Don't judge them, I think, is your biggest thing, because not every girl has the same situation or the same background of what they're doing.
When we're talking to these moms and they are considering pregnancy counseling or they're considering the option of adoption, it will be something, your response, your tenderness and your compassion, how you support them through that will be a part of their memory, just as the birth experience itself will always be a part of their memory.
And that at some point in the hospital when the baby's born, somebody needs to say, congratulations, you brought a healthy child into the world.
The nurse came in after I had a baby and says, she's fine, she's gorgeous, and she was a great nurse. And she says, I understand you want to give her for adoption. And I says, yeah, and she hugged me and says, that's a very brave thing. And that made me feel so good. It really did.
They were very understanding, they brought her to me when I asked, they took her away when I needed them to, and they took very good care of me. I'm very pleased with the experience I had with that.
When I left, the three nurses told me, you are brave. You did what's best for him. That hugged me, actually. And then that was it. I was so emotional, cried. It made me feel good.
And they understood how hard my choice was. And they treated me like a human being. And that's all anybody needs to be treated like.